last day of the Brisbane Writers Festival. Today's a slower day. A couple of my sessions got cancelled, which happens, and that's fine with me. I just got back from this session with Laura Elizabeth Willett for this book, Beautiful Revolutionary, which just came out. She signed it. It was brilliant. This is a book which is based on the life of a member of the Jonestown, or the People's Temple, which obviously ended in the Jonestown Massacre. She was so knowledgeable about what went on. I don't know anything about it, so it was really interesting to hear her talk about it. It was interesting to hear her talk about her research trips to California. She actually stayed with the sister of the woman she based the book on, and the woman she based her book on is Carolyn, who was Jim Jones's mistress. So she created this story around this woman. So it was a really interesting, awesome session. She's also super young. Can you see her? Which is inspiring for me, because I think these young women that have got it together enough to write a novel, it certainly wasn't me. So I finished this and my sessions got cancelled. I don't have another one on until 2 o'clock or something. So I thought I'd just come back to the apartment and soak in the quietness and have a bit of a read before I head back out to the festival. Nice and easy day. Hi. So I just got halfway through The Restorer and I thought I'd just have a chat about it because you guys are the only ones here. So when I first picked it up, I said this was a story about people who had a break in their marriage and have come together and they're restoring a house. That is totally not what this is about at all. Well, it's true that it's about two people who had a break in their marriage, but it's far more complicated than that. There's trails of domestic abuse that are flying around. There's also between the man and his wife, but there's also just an indication of a bit more than that, violence-wise. It's told really from the two perspectives. So the mother, who is dealing with her decision to get back in the marriage with her husband, and how she is coping with his bursts. He's not violent anymore, but he certainly is quite threatening, and everybody walks on eggshells. It's like he promised her things and is trying to uphold his end of the bargain, but she still feels insecure. And then it's also told from the perspective of Freya, who is 14, their 14-year-old daughter, and how she acts out and how she is seeing her mother. And I just finished off a chapter which was really quite telling about Freya visited her mother at work and was watching her from afar and was quite struck with how she was wearing a mask, but the mask she was wearing was when she was at home, and at work she looked free and happy. It's intensely sad. I'm finding it really sad. It's not hopeful. I guess the house is just an image of the crumpled down life that they all have, of how everything's hard to do. Yeah, it's really sad. I'm finding myself, little judgments that I have coming to the fore of this mother and why she would go back to this man. And I'm finding that I'm just like the rest of her family and her friends who have deserted her pretty much because that was the decision she'd made. There are little moments where she tries to justify her decision to us, the reader. It's not really swaying with me, but I guess maybe that's the point. It's really challenging me on those prejudices and those judgments that I have when I just have no idea about the situation that she's in. It's really nice to read. It's really well written, I think. And I'm really enjoying it. I thought it was going to be a lot more cliche. And even though what I've just described kind of sounds a bit cliche, the way that he's weaving the house through the story, and the way that he's only telling it from the female perspectives, I really like. So I'm enjoying it. I've still got a little, actually, I don't really know how much longer I'm going to go. I'm just hanging out and reading in the quiet, and I'm enjoying that. So I'm going to keep doing it. I just wanted to talk to someone about it, and I'm glad you guys are here for me to talk to. Okay, I'll get back to reading. Do you like my creative angle in the car? Because I don't have one of those things that sits up on the dash. So it's the end of my Writers' Festival experience. I've checked out of my little apartment and I am on my way home. I had such a great time, and it was an amazing experience of just relieving a lot of stuff, and the independence that I felt I needed to feel at that time. It's been a wonderful experience. 2018 was my first Writers' Festival. I plan on doing 2 next year. I'd love to go to Sydney Writers' Festival. Now that I know what they're all about, and they're totally my jam, I'm in. I'm so in. So I'm going to do a little stop off on the way home at Spotlight, which is like, the craft and fabric store. I want to investigate some wool to pick up. My nieces live in a colder part of Australia than I do, down in Melbourne, and I have always wanted to crochet them a blanket. So I never get around to it, and winter arrives and I think, I haven't done that. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to at least purchase the wool to start the blanket. And when I'm sitting watching BookTube, I can crochet granny squares. That's my plan. But because I live in the middle of nowhere and there's no Spotlight near me, I need to kind of fit all these jobs in while I'm out down in the big smoke. So I am going to stop by there on the way home and then head back to my family. Home now. They're watching the football out there. Something's happening. So I'm going to take this time to get some reading, and I want to try and finish this off tonight. So while they're occupied, I'm going to sneak it in. Every day Franklin reads about King Arthur and roller skating, about electricity and baking. He reads about spiders and ballet and how to do kung fu. And goes home and reads about gymnastics and helps the bats in his cave set up a trapeze. Then he yawns very loudly and stretches his tail and climbs into bed with a cup of chamomile tea. What do you like about the Franklin book, Papa?
To read books.
You like to read books?
Yeah.
But what do you like about Franklin and Luna?
Because they read books, don't
They read books too. Yeah, I like other people that read books as well.